I call to order the November 18th, 2020 meeting of the Springfield Board of License Commissioners.
Showing the ownership interest rates.
Tom, could you shut your mic off until, thanks. Board of License Commissioners at 5:32 p.m. On Zoom. We're not even in the Zoom room anymore. All commissioners are present except Commissioner Siciliano, who notified me that he would not be attending. The first order of business is approval of the minutes of the hearing of October 14th. Has everybody reviewed those minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing I think you've got to straighten up the order. We went 5th, 6th, and 8th. We forgot 7th. So just start them over at 7, 8, 9, 10. And other than that, they look fine.
I have a question on, all right, so with the one change is that we're missing 7th order of business, so we need to reorder 7th, 8th, and 9th after 6th. Other than that, does anybody have a change?
No?
Motion to accept?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Sene,
Yes.
Commissioner Signature, yes. For those who have not attended a public meeting yet, every vote we take has to be a roll call vote. So you're going to have to bear with us on those. I am going to go to the petition for change of manager and etc. for Nathan Bills. Attorney Kelly.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. I know you have a long evening. This is a start first with the change of ownership. Robert Gossman is selling his 51% ownership to Joe Sullivan, who's on here. Jerry Sullivan is selling his 10% to Christian Leeds, who's also on here as well. Joe Sullivan's worked at the bar since its inception. And has worked in the bar business essentially his entire life from since getting out of the service, and is probably well known to people from around the community. He's been a very big community activist for East Forest Park, and has been doing a lot of things at the bar for a lot of time. Christian Leeds has been working as one of the assistant managers there pre-COVID for a couple of years. Since COVID, they've kind of rebranded as simply just a restaurant, obviously, but he's keeping on and doing those duties as an assistant manager. And with Mr. Gossman retiring at the ripe old age of 40, Mr. Leeds has decided to step into his shoes, and this is going to be his only job, his full-time job. He's going to work 50 to 60 hours. There's about 50 employees on the roster right now during the COVID roster, and 30 of them are servers. Everyone is a tip certified, as is Mr. Leeds. It's a condition of employment. So there's that. So the change of managers also follows the change in ownership as well. And with respect to the hours, they now in an effort to try to kind of expand things, since they are no really longer operating as a bar and now can only do restaurant service, they have started a brunch on Sundays, although they cannot serve alcohol until their hours kick in. And they've had some great success. And they've met with the East Forest Park Civic Association, have received their approval to seek a change of hours from you that will allow them to start serving alcohol at 8:30 in the morning so they can serve breakfast. Again, this is not so they can run a bar, it's so they can serve breakfast. I've submitted the menu, and East Forest Park Civic Association agrees with it as well. So keeping it brief, that's the length of the presentation in total. I can certainly expand at any point, but that's kind of the bullet points.
Mr. Leeds.
Sorry, pledge.
Mr. Leeds lives where?
What's that?
I live in
Go ahead, Chris.
Where do you live, Christian?
approximately a mile away from the bar.
By the way. All right.
17 months and a half.
And
Springfield.
is this your job now, Mr. Leeds?
Correct.
Okay. All right. We had, Dan, there was a pledge of the Small Business Administration loan. Is
Yes.
that
It's
to-
the, they only would allow the SBA loans have to be taken out personally.
Oh,
And you can't, they're very difficult to kind of manage like that way, but that's just their rule. So since Mr. Gospel will no longer be, owning the bar, Mr. Sullivan and the bar has taken that on as a pledge and collateral, and that's how we've done that. So for that amount, because of COVID, the payout is a lot less than it would have been pre-COVID. So you'll see that according to that, Mr. Gossman will be on the payroll for some time and receive a payout kind of as things go, because that's their only ability to pay him right now.
Okay. The change of hours is till what, 10 on Sunday morning?
8:30.
8:30.
Yeah, they open for brunch at 10, but you can't get alcohol now. They want to open every day and start serving alcohol beginning at 8:30. And that's if you look at the letter from the East Forest Park Association, that's what they voted in favor. That's what we asked for.
Every day at 8:30.
Yes, they're going to serve breakfast every day.
Oh. All right. Okay. Well, this was a very extensive application. I had to look through it like 3 times. Do commissioners have any questions regarding this?
Nope. Other than I served with Joe Sullivan in the military, and Joe's a great guy. So,
Thank you, Colonel.
see you, Joe.
I want to say that Nathan Bills is doing a very good job with their COVID patrol. I may or may not have accidentally placed a glass on the bar, which was quickly whisked away. Much to my surprise, I didn't realize we couldn't put an empty glass on the bar during COVID, but I was told it can't go there. Okay, so good job on that. Anybody else have any other questions? Or
They thought it was a sting operation, Peter.
Yeah.
It probably was till you took his glass away, for God's sake.
Okay, we have any other questions? No? All right. Would someone like to make it's complicated. I'm going to make a motion to approve a petition for change of manager, change of officers, directors, LLC members, change of ownership, interest, pledge of license, and change of hours for 110 Island Pond Road LLC, DBA Nathan Bills, located at 110 Island Pond Road. Christian Leeds, manager of record, with the pledge to Robbie Gossman. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you for, we got to go roll call. Sorry.
Roll call.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Sene,
Yes.
Commissioner Signature, yes. Okay, thank you.
We come back next week, Peter? How does that work?
Well, this is November, so the last business day of November is the next meeting, which is the 30th, Monday the 30th. I would check with the office and make sure that you're on the agenda for that.
Thank you for taking me.
Okay, sure. Got that one done. Attorney Hagan, are you on the agenda only for Mount Carmel?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman, just for Mount Carmel.
Okay. The Board of License Commissioners approved the waiver of the application fee for the pouring licenses. And in addition, the Board of License Commissioners voted to waive the requirement for tax certification for the pouring licenses for 2020.
Okay.
So none of the pouring licenses will be tax certified this year. So you should submit that renewal application.
Okay, so if they submit the renewal application and just put in it that they're, put a note on that question and submit it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Keep in mind that taxes and interest are accruing, however, and there will be a tax cert next year. This was a one-time thing. Hopefully we'll be in phase 4 next year.
Another spot, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. We have a petition for a change of manager for Benton Park Package Store. Is Maya Kumar present?
Present here.
There you are. There you are. Okay, so this is a continuation. So where's Namako? Namako, do you know if we have received any correspondence on this petition to change the manager for Benton Park Package Store?
I couldn't say. If there is any petition regarding that, I have not been made aware of.
Okay, I have not either, so I would assume there is none.
I can reach out to Anna to find
No,
out.
I think she would have made you aware of it, Namako, if there had been any. So, commissioners, do we have anything else to add to this petition for change of manager?
Have nothing.
Okay,
No.
so this is, for audience, this is a second of the bifurcated meeting for Benton Park Package Store. We've already heard his application once, and then we have to give an opportunity for public input, and this is the opportunity, and there is none. I would make a motion to approve the petition for change of manager for Aurora Incorporated, DBA Benton Park Package Store located at 521 State Street to Mayank Kumar. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Sene,
Yes.
Commissioner Signature, yes. Thank you. You're all set, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Attorney Moore, are you home yet, or are you still en route?
Mr. Chairman, I should be back in about 4 minutes or so. I don't see why the hearing couldn't commence, at least in with the public input section, if you guys intend to do that.
Okay.
That makes sense. You know, you may as well start with that, and then you'll see my very hairless head pop up on the screen within the next 5 minutes.
I remember when that had hair on it. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but oh boy, yeah. All right, so, but no, I'll be back very, very shortly. I promise.
All right. Okay. We have a. Okay. We have the second bifurcated hearing for the change of location and transfer of license and pledge for Parkside Discount Liquors located at 445, 447 Sumner Avenue. Kushal Gogri, manager of record, and represented by Attorney Ryan. So we have already heard the request to transfer to this location, and we have substantial public input on this one. So is Commissioner Davila present? Okay, so I'll start with the planning board meeting. Planning board voted to approve with one planner voting no, and that was Planner Minio. And we have a letter from a Joanne Pakula, who lives on 17 Beaumont Street. My name is Joanne Pakula. I'm writing you today to express my concern of a liquor license transfer to 445, 447 Sumner Avenue. The planning board hearing is scheduled for September 16th and October 7th. I live at 17 Beaumont Street, which is in close proximity to the proposed site of the new liquor store. As a proponent of bringing new business into the X area of Springfield, I do not feel this is the right business for that location. First, Forest Park Package Store is located a few blocks away at 594 Sumner Avenue. 594. Do we really need more liquor stores in such close proximity? Keep in mind, there are several other liquor stores less than 5 minutes away, including Frank's, Food Zone, Eddie's, Allen Package, Dickinson Deli, and South End Package Store. My second concern is that having the discount liquor store at 445, 447 Sumner Avenue will contribute to an ongoing problem in our neighborhood. Patrons of Taco Bell tend to order drive-through meals and drive around the corner to Beaumont Street to eat their meals on our street, discarding their garbage and trash on our street. I did not oppose Taco Bell's petition to open at that location. However, had I known the problem that had arose, I would have. I don't want to see patrons buying their liquor at 445, 447 Sumner Avenue, then going across the street to Taco Bell for a drive-through meal, then driving around the corner to eat and discard more trash on our street. I strongly hope you'll consider my objection to this petition and recommend denial of this application. That's from Joanne Pakula. We have a letter from the Forest Park Civic Association. Dear Chairman, Signator, and honorable members, I'm writing with regard to the request of Parkside Discount Liquors for permission from the License Commission for a license to open a store for the sale of alcoholic beverages at a commercial property located at the X. The representative for this prospective enterprise presented their proposal by Zoom at our regularly scheduled Forest Park Civic Association board meeting in September 2020. Following a subsequent lively discussion, our board voted unanimously to oppose this proposed business in our neighborhood, and a letter to this effect was sent to the Planning Commission. Unfortunately, the Planning Commission neglected to take the views of our civic association into account, and thus we are appealing to the License Commission as the final arbiter of licensing issues. Our principal objection then as now is that with a similar fully stocked liquor store a short distance away from the desired location, plus the availability of beer and wine at a number of local outlets in our neighborhood, the overall quality of life in Forest Park would not be enhanced by the addition of yet another alcohol outlet at this time. To the contrary, our neighborhood is already far too congested with stores selling alcohol, including those small, highly popular nip beverages whose empty plastic containers seem to lay waste to sidewalks and roadways throughout our diverse neighborhood, despite the presence of disposal bins. We hope that you, Chairman Signator, and your fellow commissioners will agree that the first duty of all of the many boards and commissions in our great city is to respond to the needs and welfare of her citizens. This is the basis of our request, and we thank you in advance for taking time and making an effort to help the Forest Park Civic Association enhance the livability and beauty of Forest Park. Signed, Victor Davila, President, B.D. Bolin, Vice President, Jane Hetzel, Zoning, and Pat Triggs, Member. And this letter was forwarded by Mayor Sarno to Chairman Signator and all the commissioners. First of all, but to you and your families, and thank you for your continued and dedicated service to our Springfield. Please, for your consideration, the Forest Park neighborhood has brought these very valid concerns to my attention, which I concur with also. Thank you for your appropriate actions and considerations. Stay well and God bless, respectively, Dominic Sarno, Mayor. We also have a letter from the Springfield City Council, member of the License Commission regarding package store transfer at 445, 447 Sumner Avenue. It has been brought to our attention. You'll be voting on a license for a package store transfer for 445, 447 Sumner Avenue on Wednesday, October 28th, which was originally a scheduled meeting. This letter is in opposition to the request at this location for the reasons stated below. Forest Park neighborhood has an oversaturation of package stores, traffic concerns on an already busy Sumner Avenue with pedestrian crossings, and increase in trash and loitering. We hope you will take these concerns and the concerns of the neighborhood under careful consideration when voting on this license. It is a matter of public safety. Thank you in advance for your time. Sincerely, Kateri Walsh, Victor Davila, Justin Hurst, Adam Gomez, Jesse Lederman, Marcus Williams, Melvin Edwards, and Tim Allen. I believe, then I have a letter from Forest Park Optical, I believe. To members of the Springfield License Commission, we are licensed optometrists, licensed to practice optometry in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and have been practicing optometry at our 453 Sumner Avenue office since 2003 through RF Realty Corporation. We own the block at 445, 449 Sumner Avenue, Springfield, Mass. We have owned this property since 2012. The city currently assesses the property we own as having a value of $1,037,900, though almost 35% of our property, the site of the proposed package store, has historically been vacant or occupied by a poorly performing business. Please note that the difficulty of removing commercial rentals in this area is not restricted to us, as 2 of the 5 storefronts immediately to the east of us, 459 and 469 Sumner Avenue, are currently unoccupied. The proposed package store and lease that goes with it are very important. Package store would have a 10-year lease with rental payments of $66,000 per year. In the first year, over the life of the initial 10-year period, we anticipate almost $700,000 in rental income, and the tenant would also share a pro rata portion of the property taxes. The lease also provides the package store with 2 5-year options, thus extending the lease to a total of 20 years, resulting in $1.5 million of rental income. In addition to the rental income, substantial improvements to the building will also be completed by our tenant as part of the lease. As responsible property owners, we have worked long and hard with our commercial real estate broker to find a viable tenant who can share the block with us. We are members of the Forest Park Civic Association. We even received an award from the Forest Park Civic Association for the work we've done to improve our property. We care about our property, take pride in our property, have invested a substantial amount of our money in our property to back that up. We are confident that Hashgogri and Parkside Discount Liquors will operate as a responsible business, and that is why we have agreed to lease the property to him. We are excited to welcome them to the neighborhood and be their neighbor. In closing, Springfield claims that it is business friendly. These opportunities to lease space during this difficult time are few and far between, not just for the X, but for many parts of the city. The pandemic has been difficult for us all. As business owners and as owners of commercial property, we are certainly hopeful that the city would work with us, as well as the petitioner, to approve the transfer of package store license to 445, 447 Sumner Avenue. Sincerely, Britt Adornato and Tracy Paradon, OD. And then we have Attorney Ryan's presentation, and
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm trying to log on to the Zoom. I don't know if there's an administrator that can get me access. I think I'm in a waiting room of some kind here.
waiting room.
I don't know. I can't seem to get to the.
Well, Springfield, can you listen anymore?
He's joining right now.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you, guys. Sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry to interrupt.
There's that little ball head. Okay. We have several members of the community, which I was surprised to learn are welcome to join the second of a bifurcated public meeting. So that was something I learned today. And do we have Councilor Davila? Do you want to say anything in addition to the letter that I read?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Secretary. Good evening to the members of the board and to all the citizens and residents that are joining us. My name is Victor Davila. I am the president of the Forest Park Civic Association. And Mr. Chairman, I am not going to repeat the letter that I sent out on behalf of the Forest Park Civic Association in so much to remind just give me a second, I can pull it up here. The board, that if you stand at the X, sir, you can purchase alcohol from at least 6 different locations from the X within half a mile. In Forest Park, we have the food zone that serves a very well-stocked selection of alcohol. We also have Frank's Package Store, Dickinson Deli, who also sells alcohol. We have the Forest Park Liquors next to Benton's. We have the Racing Mart, which also has a very good, well-kept alcohol selection. We have the Shell gas station, and then within 3/4 of a mile, you got Eddie's Package Store. So potentially, you have 7 locations altogether that a person could get alcohol here in Forest Park. We feel that it's too dense of an area. I think we are well supplied and well enough that we have here in Forest Park. We are concerned with the traffic that this may create, concerned with the litter, with the potential litter. Most importantly, we all know that the X is one of the top 10 most dangerous locations in the state. That is the reason why the X is going to be redone in the near future. And we're very concerned with the potential for human loss and traffic accidents in that location. So for this reason, the Forest Park Civic Association opposes the petition from the petitioner. We encourage you to please, and to keep that in mind and vote not to approve this transfer request. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I have just a list here that I was sent, so I'm just gonna go in that order. I hope I get everybody. Mrs. Pleat, would you like to comment? You have to take your, there you go.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, been a member of the Forest Park Civic Association. I'm on the board. I've lived in Forest Park for 35 years. And again, I won't, go repeat things, but I would agree. I think in our community, we have plenty of opportunity to get alcohol in numerous places. And the biggest concern to me actually is the litter that this will increase. My husband and I have spent many, many hours going through the neighborhood, picking up trash. And one of the things that upsets us the most is the number of nips that we have to clear up every single day. So I would agree with the Forest Park Civic Association. I don't think this is in the best interest of our community.
Okay, that it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick? Nick? Turn your mic on. You have to. There you go.
Mr. Chairman, just talking, I just want to express myself on the properties that my brothers and I, my family own on Oakland Street, Kenwood Park, and of course, Johnson, Dickinson, and so on. And rental property that we have quite a few places. And I think with another liquor store coming in the area, it's going to be very difficult for us to keep these properties clean and everything else. We see with other places that the other beer and wine stores in the area, that it creates some problem with us. Finally, we got around that. And now we're looking at something else coming in the area, and we have, especially my brother John and so on, we have, and loitering, when we look at this place where it's going to be located, the parking in the back of the building, which we know that a lot of underage kids definitely going to hang around these places to find somebody to buy for them. And I see it every day with the experience that we have with these other places.
Okay. All set?
All set. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I had a request from Karen Cantor, but I assume that's Jason.
Well, that's probably somebody else. That's my mother. I don't know if she's or not. I don't have anything else to add myself, Mr. Chairman. I thank you for the opportunity to be in the meeting.
All right. Okay. I don't see your mom here, but I did see the request come in, and but I don't see her in the meeting. Okay. Thank you. Mary Ann Maloney?
I would absolutely agree with the people that have stated before I am against it. I've lived in the neighborhood on Forest Park Avenue for 50 years, and I also walk in the park every day, and I find the nips everywhere. I'm constantly picking up nips. We have students walking back home from Forest Park School. They're going by and seeing all the nips, and we've had enough problems with when we had the Orange Street Cafe, and as we said, we've got the zone is selling, the food zone is selling it, and all the racing mart and the delis, they're all selling liquor, and we just don't need we don't need any more liquor stores in our neighborhood. I think that you have to consider the people that have chosen to stay in Springfield, to bring their families up in Springfield and support the city. And we really feel that we need to be supported by the Liquor Commission to take into consideration our desires and our needs. Thank you.
Thanks, Marianne. Jane?
Hello. I'm going to just, I agree with the letter that was written, and my name is on the letter, so I will, that covers everything I feel about this particular license.
Okay, thanks, Jane. Pat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I got it now.
There you go.
Yes, sorry about that.
Bro.
My name is Pat Triggs. I've been a resident in Springfield for 56 years at 21 Greenleaf Street. I'm also the president of Concerned Citizens for Springfield, a nonprofit organization that has worked for the betterment of Forest Park for 26 years. I won't bore us with the listing of all of the establishments that offer alcoholic beverages in the immediate area. But I will say that when the petitioner came before the Civic Association, of which I am also a member, the petitioner did not seem to be particularly interested in working with the neighborhood. We talked about this problem with NIPS, but the petitioner just kind of seemed to dismiss it. So I don't feel that there was any great interest on the part of the petitioner in working with the neighborhood. I am concerned for the owner of the property, Dr. Adonato, who has done a wonderful job. We're very happy with the upkeep of the property there. But I personally do not think that this is the right fit. Thank you for hearing our concerns, Commissioner.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Pat. Attorney Ryan, I don't see anybody else who signed up to speak, so I'm going to turn it over to Attorney Ryan at this point. We have a letter from you. You would want to cover that yourself?
Yeah, I will cover that myself, Commissioner. Thank you. And just responding to Pat Triggs's comments, and Hash Gagri is on the line as well. With all due respect, he went before the Civic Association without representation. I do believe, because I've experienced it myself, there is a bit of a language issue. And so he's before the Civic Association, and in my discussions with him, the NIPS became an issue because he's going in here, he's looking to spend, it's approximately $700,000 to open up this store. And that doesn't include the rental income that would be paid out over the term of the lease. And so to close off a line of legal merchandise, it just, he can't do it before he even opens the business. So he was requested to do so. He did not agree to do so. But the issue is whether this is an appropriate site for a package store. And a package store is different than beer and wine. And beer and wine is, as you know, Mr. Commissioner, that's Racing Mart, that's Food Zone. Those are not package stores. On the oversaturation issue, right now, Forest Park Discount Liquors has essentially a monopoly. Fort Pleasant Liquors, or whatever they're called these days, and Frank's Liquors do not really draw the business from the rest of the Forest Park neighborhood. And they're literally on the periphery, on the border of the neighborhood. And so right now, the only package store within the Forest Park neighborhood, as defined on the city census tract, in the heart of it, is Forest Park Liquors next to the Santander Bank. And what's becoming is that there's a little bit of protecting the monopoly here, and that's some of the concern that this person would get to keep a monopoly. But more importantly, Mr. Commissioner, to the commissioners, if you look at the X in that 2-block radius, or in those 2 blocks, this site, the old Lafayette Radio, has been vacant or underutilized for several decades. There was the discount store in there. There was some kind of hydroponic store in there. Neither one brought any value to the neighborhood. Next block over at the old Blake's and Goodwill, 2 out of those 3 storefronts, and I'd argue that about 50% of that block is vacant. And the other businesses that are in there would, if you look at them from the street, appear to be on life support. This is not right now a very strong commercial neighborhood. This petitioner, and it's in the letter from the folks at Forest Park Eye Care, they worked with a commercial realtor to find a viable tenant, a commercially viable tenant who can support them. or who can pay rent. The collector of taxes would probably know, but the taxes that are paid by Forest Park Ag Care are probably $35,000 to $40,000 a year. This rent only goes to, helps to cover some of that, helps to cover some of the cost of running that business, of running that block. We're a city that has, in the recent past, opened up marijuana or is opening up marijuana establishments across the city, and we're opening up casinos. The idea that a package store, which is licensed under the city, which is regulated by the city and regulated by the state, it cannot open in what has been historically vacant and underdeveloped site, if not this, what? And it's not as though, the owners haven't tried other things. So this is a legal business. Mr. Gagri has been in the business for a number of years, both in this state and elsewhere. There's no issue that he hasn't complied and he hasn't followed the laws. He is subject to the laws. He is subject to the License Commission going forward. What he's asking the commission, what he's asking the city, is for the right to invest a heck of a lot of money in this city and to have the privilege of conducting a business in this city for the next 10 to 20 years. But he understands the rules. He's abided by those rules, both in this state and when he was in Connecticut, and he has no problem continuing to do so. And, we all live in the park, because I'm a Forest Park resident, like many of you here. We all know the problems. We all pick up the trash, whether it's from the drive-throughs or whether it's from the NIPS. The drive-throughs are much more of a significant issue, at least on my street. We all enjoy Forest Park, but none of those are good, valid, or sufficient reasons for the commission to deny this request to transfer the license to this locality. And that's essentially my remarks, commissioners.
Okay. Commissioners, questions?
Well, I've got just some comments, being a 48-year resident of the park and owning 2 homes in the park and a small business. This country right now is folding up businesses left and right. The city of Springfield has 25% unemployment right now. The governor has allowed package stores to remain open because they're essential business. And that's because the medical community advised the governor that the hospitals will be full of people going through withdrawal that they can't deal with during this pandemic. It kills me to shut business out right now. The predictions are 20 to 30% of small businesses in the Commonwealth are going to be gone by next spring.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Can I just interrupt for a second?
Who is
Mr.
talking?
Chair. It's Attorney Moore. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I didn't mean to cut off the commissioner. I'm sorry, Commissioner, to cut you off. I just point of procedure here. If there's a question for the open hearing, that should be what happens now. If we're talking about, the commission having a deliberation and kind of discussing their point of view on what they've heard within the hearing, you got to close that section first, and then you go into deliberation. So we haven't gotten to deliberation yet. And from what I understand, Attorney Ryan just finished giving more input to the hearing. If we're done receiving evidence, you're done receiving input, let's formally close that portion, and then the commissioners can discuss as they wish and make a decision. But, if there's a question, there's a question. If not, then we got to have that discussion take place in the deliberation section. Otherwise, it becomes part of the record for the evidence we're receiving, and we can't have the judges giving evidence into the record. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everybody hopefully comfortable with that concept. So if you guys are done receiving public input, if there's no more letters, there's no more evidence, there's no more testimony, let's have that portion of the hearing closed officially, and then Commissioner Sine can go right back into what he was discussing a minute ago.
Okay, so commissioners, are there any questions for neighborhood council, the licensee, or Attorney Ryan?
No.
No. All right, I make a motion, then we go into discussion and vote. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Find my list of license. Commissioner Sene?
Yeah, just to pick up,
No, we're voting. Commissioner. Commissioner Sene? Yes. Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Mr. Signature, yes. Okay, go ahead, Ron.
You know, at what point do we stop shutting out businesses? You know, we've got an X that's full of empty storefronts, and I don't disagree with what's been said tonight. I know the people that have spoken, and everybody has valid concerns with what we're dealing with as a community. But geez, at some point, we can't afford to shut businesses out. We've got two women business owners at the X that are reaching out for help. They haven't got any help from the community that I'm aware of. It's easy to say, no, no, no. Maybe we need to step up and start figuring out what we can do to help these small businesses to survive right now. You know, you pick up the morning paper. The hotel that was going to build in Springfield is gone. They're not building now because of this pandemic. The second page, Wahlburgers not opening till spring, and big restaurant Packard's in Northampton not closed till spring. I'm really concerned about what we're seeing at the X and what we're continuing to see in these huge places empty. And it's just, at some point, it's counterproductive to our city to keep saying no, 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 no. We can put restrictions on. Those business owners at that X keep a fantastic business there. Their place is clean. It's well lit. They've got huge parking. I'm just sorry. I can't, in good conscience, tell businesses no. We've got so many unemployed. Think of the people that could walk to work at the X, that have children and need to make extra money, that could work in the package store. And just one last thing. I mean, almost 5 years on this commission. I have never, ever seen the political involvement before in the 5 years I've been on. I mean, letters, phone calls, to a commission that's supposed to be apolitical. And I got to tell you, if they have had that much of an impact on this commission, we've crossed the line and we're not apolitical anymore. And that would break my heart if we're ready to go there. But I just hope there wasn't too much pressure put on my fellow commissioners tonight, because that's not fair to any of us. So that's all. It's a difficult decision, but boy, with all the empty storefronts and the businesses leaving Springfield, at some point we've got to stand up and be supportive instead of negative. That's it.
Anybody else? Rosa?
No.
No. Andrew?
We've heard a number of individuals who were opposed to the establishment. Were there any residents who were in favor?
I received nothing in favor except for the business owners themselves. Namako, are you aware of anything else that I did not have?
No, I am not.
Okay, thank you. Andrew, anything else?
That's it.
Okay. My observation is that regarding the political influence, Ron, normally when we meet, when we have a decision to make on a new licensee or an expansion premise or a new location, we ask the licensee to meet with the appropriate neighborhood council to come to agreement, make sure that they have nothing that they're disagreeing on, and in hopes that the neighborhood council will support that licensee when they come before the board, so that it's basically, approved and off they go to Boston. In this instance, the licensee did not agree with the neighborhood council's request to specifically ban nips from being sold, and that is where we ended up with letters from the neighborhood council. Excuse me. Letters to the neighborhood council, to the mayor, and then the city councilors getting involved. And you see the number of neighbors that are here tonight at this meeting, because they couldn't work out this one issue at the neighborhood council level. And it's all of the businesses that you did mention, bars, restaurants, the hotel, all of those are not package stores. Package stores are not doing poorly in this pandemic. So a lot of people are staying home and drinking alcohol at home. So one of the business categories not affected by the pandemic appears to be package stores. So I did attend the neighborhood council meeting, and I did attend the planning board meeting. And the one planner who voted in dissension, Mr. Minio, civil engineer for the city, did cite the fact that there are plans for the X, for that the state is supposed to be coming in, and I hope I see this before I pass away, that the X be redesigned and they're going to dump millions of dollars in, and perhaps a package store is not the best use for this location because of what is coming down the pike. And I don't know whether that's next month, next year, or next decade. And my other comment was to address Attorney Ryan's question, if not this, what? I believe from the neighborhood's perspective, and I am the neighborhood representative on the board, as you know, the answer to that question would be not this, because this is not what they want at the X. So unfortunately, from their perspective, this is not the best use for this location, and they'll hope that the optometrists will search for a more desirable tenant for their building. So that,
Peter, with all due respect, I've lived there for 48 years, and I've been hearing the traffic pattern's going to change, and we're going to fix it.
Me too. I've seen all
Probably another 48 years. We'll be talking about that.
I hear you. I've seen it. I've seen all the plans. So I did provide you with the Ballerin considerations. Those Ballerin considerations are something that we dust off when we have a difficult decision to make. Usually when the licensee has been to the neighborhood council and they've resolved all their issues, we don't have to even bother invoking the Ballerin considerations. We can just approve it. But in this instance, if we are going to approve or deny, we have to invoke why we are approving or denying this request. So is there anybody who, any of the commission members that would like to make a motion on this petition?
Well, I'd make a motion to approve it from a business perspective.
Well,
we need business at the X, not more empty storefronts.
It's from a license commission perspective, not a business perspective.
Well, no, it's a business.
And to address your comment regarding putting restrictions on, we cannot put a restriction on a package store not to sell nips, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately we can't, but we can certainly close it.
We cannot, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if we've got problems there. We've closed other places.
It would be a stretch to close a package store for litter. It's never been done in my tenure, 17 years. We've never closed a package store for litter. So you are making a motion to approve. Is that correct? Okay, do I have a second on that motion? Okay, hearing none, motion fails. Attorney Ryan, I'm sorry, the motion to approve has failed.
Do we vote now for procedure? People have to be on record as voting?
Yes, I will.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
So, well, you made a motion and nobody seconded it. Attorney Moore, where do we proceed from there?
Yeah, perhaps I can be of help. I think the motion you'd be entertaining next would be a motion to deny if you were not motioning to approve.
We have
so,
to
I
make
mean,
a motion
there's
to deny? All right.
I think that's procedurally where it makes the most sense to go. If the motion to approve passes, then you don't need to go there. But since the motion to approve did not carry, you would take a vote on another motion. That's really the next vote you would take.
Would someone like to make a motion to deny? I will make the motion. I make a motion to deny the petition for a change of manager I'll get the right one here. Change of location, transfer of license, and pledge of license for Parkside Discount Liquors, DBA Parkside Discount Liquors, located at 445, 447 Sumner Avenue. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner.
Mr. Commissioner?
Yes?
Just one last point of order. I think it's important, no matter how the commission votes this evening, that, as you made reference to, that they make a reference within their decision to the reasoning behind it.
Thank you.
You know, I think when there's a case in dispute, you know, where there's, you know, input from the public saying one thing and input from the owner saying the other, you know, the board's better off having the reason stated on the record of why they're deciding either up or down. Either way you
Correct.
go.
Thank you. All right. There are 7 Ballarin considerations. Number of existing licenses in the locality, views of the citizens, traffic impact, noise, type of proposed facility, type of proposed operation, and reputation of the applicant. In this instance, from the correspondence we've received from the neighborhood council, the mayor, city council, and the neighbors present, I make a motion to deny based on condition number 1, consideration number 1, number of existing licensees in the locality, 2, the views of the citizens, and 3, the traffic impact on the neighborhood. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Sene?
No.
Commissioner Penosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Signature, yes. So the motion is, the petition is denied. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Okay, I'm
Good
going
night.
to move on to Attorney
Yeah,
Rook.
Mr. Chairman, just to make one point to my fellow commissioners, I think we heard some hardworking people in the city that are trying to make a go of a business. And 5 years on this commission almost, I think this is the first time we've really done something with this much political pressure on everyone. I appreciate what the commission's gone through in compromising their integrity maybe tonight a little bit, which I don't ever do. So I will just pass on the rest of this meeting and send something to the chief of staff, and I wish you well. It's been a pleasure. Good night. Okay.
Okay. Next, Attorney Rook, we have a petition for alteration of licensed premises for City Line Cafe located at 9 Rimmon Avenue, Martin Cunningham, manager of record.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and fellow commissioners. Mr. Chairman, welcome back from Florida. I hope you enjoyed your vacation.
I wish I was still there.
I don't blame you. So, Mr. Chairman and fellow commissioners, this is a petition for a permanent outdoor patio. I did email Anna and Mr. Chairman quite a few documents, and I trust that they have been forwarded to each respective commissioner. Mr. Chairman, commenting on your previous comments just before this hearing, the Hungry Hill Neighborhood Council has unanimously supported this petition to expand the premises for an outdoor patio. There was a letter dated July 15th, signed by Catherine Mossy, President, attesting certification. In addition, Mr. Chairman, the Planning Board has supported and endorsed the petition with restrictions and conditions, which we wholeheartedly support, and that would be closing at 11 p.m. And we endorse that along with the other permits, that there's no outside banners, nor any outside music or entertainment. That's agreeable to Marty Cunningham, who's seated over my right-hand shoulders, and he is the owner and manager of the premises. I've also submitted to you a security plan for the staff to ensure that persons are not outside after 11 p.m. and that they are noise compliant, for lack of better terminology. This establishment has been open for at least 55 to 60 years that I know of personally. I was born and raised in this neighborhood. I was a frequent patron of this establishment when I was a younger man, and I continue to stop by on a monthly basis to say hi to my friends. And I can say that 90% of the patrons are either residents of the Hungry Hill neighborhood, or they moved on, but they still come back to frequent and see their friends. That would include me. That would include Congressman Neal on occasion stopping in, who lives right down the street. City councilors, state representatives. It's a neighborhood establishment. They do not attract outside patrons from Connecticut or any other location. It's 95% local. I've also included a group of color photographs, which I hope you've had an opportunity to review, showing the establishment, showing the licensed premises and a proposed patio. I would suggest to you, it's moderate in size, and the abutting structure does a great deal, along with the wooden fence, to minimize the noise level with the immediate neighbor, who was the sole individual objecting to the petition. Please look carefully at the colored photographs that I've supplied to you, as well as the distance between the established premises and the neighbor. I've also included with my package a petition signed by 89 residents who support the petition. In addition to that, I have included a records to the police department going back 5 years. The immediate neighbor who's objecting to this, in 5 years, never once called the Springfield Police Department to complain about noise or excessive obscenities or anything. I would ask each and every one of you to think, if you lived immediately adjacent to an establishment that had excessive noise, obscenities being played, music being played over 5 years, would you not have at least once or twice or 10 times or 20 times picked up the phone and called the police department and say, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, it's 11 o'clock at night. You know, there's noise going on here. Never once in 5 years, according to the Springfield Police Department records, did they ever call. But yet 89 residents in the neighborhood are in support of this. So I would ask that you grant this petition. You have the authority, if after 1 month or 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, there's documented violations, you can bring him back before you and say, okay, your closing time is being restricted from 11 o'clock to 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock, or revoke it entirely. So I think Mr. Cunningham, he's a lifelong resident of Springfield. He owns 3 properties in Springfield in addition to this business. He deserves an opportunity to prove himself. I would ask you, he's had a very, very difficult year. And on behalf of Marty Cunningham and multiple other clients that I represent, you know, we thank you for waiving the renewal fees this year, because it was a huge benefit to a lot of my clients who are struggling to just make ends meet. So I would ask that you vote in favor of this, and we're available to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. We do have a letter from the Hungry Hill Neighborhood Council dated July 15th. To the planning board, the Hungry Hill Neighborhood Council board has agreed to support the alteration of premises for an all alcohol license expansion at 911 Ribbon Avenue. It is our understanding that this is for the patio in the rear of the City Lion Cafe. The council is in support of the request and is in agreement with the planning department's recommendation that the patio be closed at 11 p.m., as well as the additional conditions. As this is land-based issue before the board, we request that the property be maintained with respect to litter and debris. In addition, we ask that they be mindful of loitering and noise, as it is a quality of life issue that can affect a budding residential area. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Catherine Mossy, President of the Neighborhood Council. I have a letter from James O'Connor to Alvin Allen, who is on the Planning Department. This message is to express my support for the additional patio use at City Line Cafe. I've been a resident of the Glenwood neighborhood for over 60 years and own 2 properties within close proximity to the pub. Management of this pub has changed many times over these past 60 years, but I can say with authority that these past few years, under the control of Mr. Cunningham, it has never been more well managed. As a neighbor and property owner in Hungry Hill, Martin is very hands-on. He is on site every evening to keep an eye on the place and keep it impeccably maintained. He's also there in the morning to do the necessary deep cleaning the current situation requires. The recent improvements to the facility are a clear indication of the commitment to operating a first-class establishment. We are pleased to offer our full support to Mr. Cunningham and his very competent staff, Jim O'Connor, 67 and 73 David Street, Springfield. From a Mary Ellen O'Brien, dear Mr. Allen, I am corresponding with you today to express my support for the City Line Cafe's petition for approval for outside dining. The newly renovated patio area offers a small outside area for patrons to be able to enjoy a bite to eat and a drink. The addition of a fully insulated storage structure and a new stockade fence effectively minimizes any noise that might emanate from the area, and a new and spacious parking lot in back has eliminated much of the parking issues that at one time would have affected Rimmon Avenue. As far as the noise goes, with the exception of 1 or 2 nights a year, there is no live music there, and if there, it is inside. The patio area is of a size that music would not be feasible. It should be noted that this establishment has in fact been at this location longer than any occupying households around it. The owner of the City Line is someone who is not only grown up in the neighborhood, but actually still lives there as I do. And to have a business owner be able to say that in the Springfield today, to me, is admirable to say the least. Mr. Cunningham is a responsible, present, and conscientious business owner. He has invested significant financial resources into the physical building. It is a clean, safe neighborhood gathering place in these difficult times that offers such economic trials to small business owners. It would certainly behoove the city's administrative boards to support a request such as this, that it will enable a business to stay operating and solvent. Thank you for taking the time to consider my thoughts, Mary Ellen O'Brien. I have another one. My name is Karen Spindler. I own my own home at 45 Rimmon Avenue, Springfield, Mass. I have never had a problem with any excessive noise or disturbance or parking issues concerning the City Line establishment. They are good neighbors and a friendly local meeting place. Sincerely, Karen Spindler, 45 Rimmon Avenue. Now, this is the neighbor you were referring to, Attorney Rook. This is an email to the License Commission. We are writing today to the License Commission to file a formal complaint against the City Line Capital, DBA City Line, located at 911 Rimmon Avenue, Springfield, Mass. They presently hold a temporary license for an outdoor patio that states it must close at 11 p.m. On Friday night, October 23rd, 2020, their patrons were outside on their patio consuming alcohol past this closing time. We were awoken by their loud, boisterous voices, shouting, yelling, and singing. This behavior continued until 11:43 p.m. This is in direct violation of the 11 p.m. patio closing time given to them by the License Commission. City Line staff allowed this behavior to continue for 43 minutes. This behavior shows their total disregard and total disrespect for their neighbors. The License Commission and the City of Springfield, they are showing that they will not follow the rules given to them by the License Commission. These are concerns we raised in our letters to the Planning Board and License Commissioner and Mayor Sarno's office. They are asking you for a permanent outdoor patio license at your meeting on October 28th, 2020. We are asking you to reconsider issuing a permanent outdoor patio license to them. They have shown they will not comply with the rules given to them on their temporary license. It is clear that they will not comply if issued a permanent outdoor patio license. Thank you for listening to our concerns. Gail and Les McRae, 15 Rimmon Avenue. And I believe Attorney Rook, in this picture of the patio here, this is their house, right? Over that wooden garage-like structure?
Correct.
Okay. What is that wooden garage? Is that the City Lines or is that theirs?
That is just, the garage is theirs, right?
No, the shed, it's a storage shed.
Storage shed owned by City Line.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Okay, so I did ask, because, we had the canceled previous meeting due to the lack of recording availability, I did take the opportunity to ask Barry, because Barry is our police officer, for those who don't know, who is not present with us tonight because we're scattered to the four winds, if he had received this complaint on this evening of October 23rd, and he said there was no call to the police department. So that is in agreement, Attorney Rook, with your statement that the License Commission Office receives complaints during the day, next business day, but the police department doesn't ever seem to be called. And I have reviewed this log. I don't know if the other commissioners have had the opportunity to do so, but I would say almost every single call for police here is because of an alarm failure. That someone tripped the alarm,
90% of them.
walked through an open door or a locked door or something like that. So I don't know what to make of this next door neighbor who complains but never calls the police. Certainly, if the licensee was serving and the patio was open past 11 p.m., they should have called the police and had something done about it instead of watching it for 43 minutes and doing nothing about it, right? Except write a letter the next day. I do have a letter from Marty. Do you want me to read this letter, Marty?
No, that's just for the record.
To address this, it's mainly no. Don't bother.
No, the commissioners also received it, so you don't need to read that lengthy letter, Peter. I'm sure you have other business on after this. This meeting is going on a little bit longer.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Longer than usual. We have all of your many, many pictures, Attorney Rook. It looks to me like there's 4 tables on this patio. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a picnic table and 3 smaller tables.
And then a long bench.
A long bench, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So certainly the planning department recommended approval was just the standard no banners and streamers, and then the no service after 11 p.m. and no outside music, which one of the neighbors has already cited would not really be possible on this.
We have no objection to that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the licensee?
No.
No. Okay. I would make a motion then. We go into discussion and vote. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioners Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
and Commissioner Sene has left the meeting. So I vote yes. And it seems like the licensee has had if you recall, in the spring, this was one of the first patios we approved for licensing for the summer. And other than this one correspondence for about October 23rd to Attorney Days, we have no complaints from any of the neighbors. So they've been compliant all summer long, and I know that this has been a long sought after extension. So I do not have an issue with this. Does anybody have anything else to say?
No.
None. Okay. I would then make a motion to approve a petition for alteration of licensed premises for City Line Capital DBA City Line Cafe located at 911 Rimmon Avenue, Martin Cunningham, with a restriction of hours to 11 p.m. And we cannot mention the entertainment. That is the entertainment license issued by the mayor's office. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Signator, yes. Thank you very much, Attorney Rook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Stay healthy.
Moving on, we have Mr. Brisbois from Snookers. Just turn your mic on, sir. Your microphone is off. You have to turn your mic on. Nothing yet. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, for getting me on the docket this evening.
Basically, it's a simple request for a change in category. Snookers has been a long-standing business in the city of Springfield. Myself, as a new owner, approximately a year, we did take the opportunity, as bad as it was with the COVID condition, to spruce the place up a little bit, some painting. And in reopening, we see that, as in many businesses, customers like choices. And so we've had a long-standing beer and wine license. Snookers has been at this location for maybe 27, 28 years. So the petition is a request for a change in category to an all-alcohol license. We have expanded our food menu. There's many more offerings. And that's because of the requirement for initial alcohol purchase, that purchase a food item off the menu. And so as we're increasing those choices, we would like to change category and offer an all alcohol license.
Okay. This is way out, almost on the Wilbraham line, right? By the Friendlies?
It's right at the Friendlies intersection at the light right there, the two-story building, yes.
And is it on the second floor?
The pool hall is on the second floor. The business was sold. Robertson Ludlow Printing now owns the building. They have their business on the first floor. Okay. And the pool hall continues to operate with all its existing assets on the second floor.
Okay, great. Well, in my tenure on the commission, we have never had an issue with Snookers, and I hope it remains that way. Commissioners, do you have any questions regarding this change of category?
No.
Nope.
No, great. Okay, I make a motion. We go into discussion and vote. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Signatory, yes. Okay. We don't see many changes of category from beer to wine and alcohol, but it seems to be in keeping with the business. They're trying to attract more business and serve food along with their beverages, so I don't see an issue with this. Does anybody have anything to add? No? All right. I will make a motion to approve a petition for change of category from beer and wine to all alcohol for Snookers Billiards Club Incorporated, DBA Snookers Billiards, located at 1791 Boston Road. Gary Brisbaum, manager of record. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Signatory, yes. Thank you. All set. We're going to send that off to Boston, Mr. Brisbaum.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
This is a bifurcated meeting, so we're going to have a second meeting for this. So you're not off to Boston quite yet.
Okay, well, just keep me posted when I need to attend.
We will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We have an informational hearing for Forest Park, VFW, and we had a lot of questions about the validity of the odd complaint we received, and Namako, do you know if we've received anything else regarding the VFW in Forest Park?
No, I don't know if we received anything.
All right, okay. I'm going to make a motion then. Does anybody have anything they want to say about this odd thing? No? All right. I'll make a motion to continue this generally then. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Mr. Signatory, yes. And we've already addressed the Mount Carmel issue. And we have one entertainment district violation report that you can read at your leisure. And I don't think we have any other new violations. Is that correct, Namako?
You are correct.
Okay. Commissioner Davila and Marianne are still here from the Forest Park neighborhood. One thing I did want to mention, in the letter to the License Commission, you mentioned the planning board. I just want to comment that the planning board's meeting is to address only land use issues. They cannot do what the License Commission can do as far as determine whether this is an appropriate business for the location and consider the surrounding neighborhood's opinion. Planning board is only, is this appropriate for a retail space? And And I believe personally that they voted correctly, that it is already a retail store. So it is an appropriate use of that building. So I just don't want you to, you know, think badly of the planning board. They did their job. They did what they were supposed to do. And we did what we had to do. So.
Yeah, Commissioner, I think you're right. It's a good point. You know, the planning board is bound at a certain level where, you know, when they meet an as of right use, the planning board, you know, they have to go by the law. You're exactly right. It's well said.
Yeah. Okay. Hearing that, I make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of question, clarification.
Sure.
In the letter for, I know we kind of in hindsight, but in the letter to the commissioners from the city councilors,
yes,
there are no signatures. Is that something that was intended to be that way, or did we have another copy of a letter like that?
No, I do not, Andrew. I did have a conversation with Sue Kokoyanakis in the city council office, and I don't know. I assume it may have been a commissioner, Councilor Davila, who initiated it. I'm not sure, but she was collecting those approval from those commissioners, councilors she could have reached, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but to paraphrase what she told me, she feels that she probably could have gotten more support from more counselors had she had time, but she wanted to submit this letter from those she spoke to in time for our meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions for anybody? Okay, great. I make a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Espinosa.
Yes.
Commissioner Cade.
Yes.
Commissioner Signature, yes. Thank you all. Good night.
All right, good night.
Night.
Good night, everybody.